Have you ever wondered how often should I water my plants? The answer might surprise you. It's not as simple as once a week or twice a month. Actually, it's more about quality over quantity. And in today's episode, I'm going to dive deep into the science behind watering and show you why. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to help you become a more successful gardener. Now, I know what you're thinking. Watering seems like such a simple task, right? Just pour some water on your plants and you're done, right? Wrong. It's actually one of the most common areas where beginner gardeners go wrong. Too much water and your plants can end up rotting from the inside out. Too little and they can quickly wilt and wither away. So how do you find that perfect balance? That's exactly what we're covering today in our series called Beginner Gardening Bootcamp. In this 4th episode, we're talking all things watering. I know there are a lot of you out there who want to get your hands dirty and start growing your own food. But maybe you've been hesitant because you're just not sure where to start. So, if you're feeling a little lost or overwhelmed, don't worry. This video series is designed to be your one-stop shop for all the essential basics you need to know to get started on your own gardening journey. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Every Monday morning we post a new episode of the Beginner Gardening Bootcamp series to help you get started and keep you on track through the entire season. At the end of each episode, I'll also share some bonus content that I know you're going to want to hear, including how to use mulch and moisture meters for even better watering. So let's get into it. All right, let's start off with the most important thing to remember about watering, which is to water deeply, not daily. Here's the deal. Plants need water to survive, obviously. But it's not just about the amount of water you give them. It's also about how much water they absorb. A good deep watering is far better than a quick, shallow spray. When you water deeply, you're encouraging your plant's roots to grow down and search for that water. And that means they'll become stronger and more frost-resistant for the winter. Not to mention, it helps prevent weeds, too, because those pesky weed seeds hate dry soil. On the flip side, frequent, shallow watering can lead to all sorts of problems. First off, it doesn't really quench their thirst very effectively. Second, it can actually stop your plants from growing deeper roots, which makes them more vulnerable to pests and diseases. Plus, it keeps the soil from drying out properly, which means you'll end up with a lot of wasted water and unhappy plants. Next, let's talk timing. Early morning is the best time to water your garden. That's because it gives the water time to soak in before the sun starts to beat down on it. And why is that important? Well, water that sits on the surface for too long during the heat of the day can actually burn your plants. It's like getting a bad sunburn. On the other hand, watering in the evening can leave the foliage wet overnight, which can invite pests and diseases. So aim for early morning and you'll be good to go. Now, here's a handy trick. Try to water your garden at the same time each day. That way you'll be less likely to forget. For example, set your phone's alarm for 7 a.m. every Tuesday and Thursday to remind yourself to water. It may seem a bit obsessive at first, but trust me, your plants will thank you. So how do you actually check if your plants need water? Stick your finger into the soil. If it's dry an inch or two down, it's time to water. Another option is to use a moisture meter like this one here. You simply stick it into the soil and it gives you a reading. When the reading is low, it's time to water. Just remember, don't rely on these meters 100% of the time. They can sometimes be inaccurate. It's always good to use your finger test too. One of the biggest mistakes when it comes to watering is watering the wrong parts of the plant. It's tempting to focus on the leaves, especially if they start to look wilted. But guess what? That can actually do more harm than good. Watering the leaves can end up increasing disease pressure. Instead, you want to direct your water at the soil. That way it'll have time to soak in and reach the roots without leaving any excess water on the leaves or stems. Plus, it encourages your plants to grow deeper roots, which makes them stronger in the long run, and that's a win-win. Here's another pro tip. Try to water slowly. It might take a little longer, but it's worth it. Slow watering helps the soil absorb the water evenly and reduces runoff. Nobody wants to see their hard-earned water just washing away, right? It also prevents the roots from getting waterlogged and suffocating. Nobody wants saggy roots. Speaking of runoff, you'll want to make sure you have good drainage. If your soil doesn't drain well, the water will sit in the soil instead of soaking in. This can lead to all sorts of issues like root rot and stunted growth. So, if you notice that your plants are constantly wilting despite regular watering, it might be time to check your drainage system. But what if you're growing your plants in containers? Do you have to water them more frequently? Yes and no. Container plants tend to dry out faster since they have less soil to retain moisture. However, they can also dry out quicker. The key is to check them regularly and water them as soon as they start to feel dry to the touch. You might find yourself watering container plants daily or maybe only once a week, depending on the weather. It's all about paying attention to their needs and adjusting accordingly. Okay, I promised you some bonus content, and now it's time for mulch and moisture meters. Let's start with mulch. It's a gardener's best friend when it comes to watering. Mulch is a layer of material like wood chips or straw that you put around your plants. And here's what it does. It helps keep the soil moist for longer. That means you won't have to water as frequently, which is a huge time saver. Plus, it prevents weed growth, which means less competition for your plants and less work for you. It's a win-win. Now, let's talk about moisture meters. These handy tools are a great way to check your soil's moisture levels without having to stick your finger in it. They come in different types, like ones that look like fancy metal probes or even simple strips like pH strips. Now, here's the deal. Moisture meters are a helpful tool, but they're not foolproof. You have to calibrate them occasionally. And even then, they only give you a reading at the spot where you place them. So consider them a guide rather than the ultimate authority. In fact, there are some situations where relying solely on a moisture meter can actually lead you astray. For instance, if you've recently watered your plants, the meter might still show high moisture levels, even if the soil hasn't fully absorbed the water yet. And if your plants are showing signs of needing water, trust your eyes and your experience, not just the meter. Remember, gardening is as much an art as a science. So there you have it, everything you need to know about watering your garden. Now, go forth and water like a pro. And don't forget, in next week's episode, we're diving into the world of fertilizers versus compost. You'll learn which one is better and how to make your own nutrient-packed compost at home. It's an episode you won't want to miss. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us grow and reach more gardening enthusiasts like you. And if you've already subscribed, thank you. We're so glad you're here on this journey with us. If you're still wondering about watering, though, I know this video helped you out. Please comment below. We love reading your comments and responding to your questions. Happy gardening, everyone!